5, 4, 3, 2, and we are live with lovely Veronica and Paulina. We want to have an interesting discussion to learn more about you, Veronica. As you know, here at Metropolitan, we're always trying to add value to the international community of Barcelona. We like to showcase talent that's here and going around the world, in particular to English-speaking markets. And we love to have people from those markets that are doing some stuff here. And you have this magical, awesome profile that you're doing things in New York and things in Barcelona. I had the honor of dancing with you. You're a crazy dancer on the 4th of July. And Paulina was with us there. Paulina was dancing with us too. But I don't know if you guys were able to interact. So, Veronica, you have all these different facets of your life. Would you mind doing a quick introduction of yourself and then say maybe 10 seconds, and then we'll jump into it. Paulina has a number of questions that she would like to bring to you. Is that okay?
Sure. So thank you for the invitation, Victor. This is a pleasure to discuss with you today. So let me really briefly introduce myself, Veronica Sabbag. I'm currently the founder and chair of a nonprofit organization based both in Brussels and New York called United Voices for Peace. So I was born in Madrid, so I'm a Spanish citizen, but we moved at a very early age to Barcelona. So this is where all my family lives at the moment. But I consider myself as a global citizen. So I started traveling at a very, very young age and completing studies in France, in Germany, in Belgium. And this is how I started working for the European Union. Basically on international affairs and traveling the world and forging my experience in conflict management. So observing these terrible theaters and terrible conflicts all around the world, I decided to go my way. And my way was founding a nonprofit organization called United Voices for Peace, fostering a universal culture of peace through music and the arts. But I'm happy to develop as we go ahead with the interview.
Okay. Well, Paulina, you are the master. You have all these awesome questions that you were posing to me. I say, don't ask me, ask Veronica directly. So the show is yours.
Thank you, Veronica, so much for being here. We have a couple of questions, and first, I'd like to start it off with the background and expertise on Vital Voices. Could you please tell us more?
So, Vital Voices is a huge international network of women, and the aim of this network is to promote women in leadership positions and increase women representation. So right now it is composed of 20,000 women all around the world that are, as I said, holding a sort of leadership position, be it in the diplomatic or political world or social entrepreneurship, in all fields of expertise. So I was privileged to be chosen as a fellow of that organization in 2021. So we were called the Pandemic Fellowship. And I really discover sisterhood, support, resilience. Unfortunately, most of us have encountered discrimination. Most of us have been very resilient to fight against that and to hold tough on our initiatives to promote women presence, equal representation and rights.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I didn't know that about Vital Voices.
Wow, Vital Voices actually has been founded by, a remarkable group of women who were in leadership positions and now are leading in a different way. For instance, names such as Diane von Furstenberg, Madeleine Albright, Hillary Clinton, and they were determined to ensure equal rights for women, in particular in the political sphere and the social sphere.
Fantastic. Okay. Please continue, Paulina.
Right. All right. Then could you please tell us more about this groundbreaking initiative Initiative Global Women in Music and the exciting third edition that is to come?
So let me come back to United Voices for Peace, which is the organization that I founded. As I said, we do promote the handling of today's challenges through music and the arts, because we believe this is a very effective way of touching the minds and the hearts of people. It is a cultural diplomacy initiative, meaning that we bring people together and we facilitate collaboration between people from different backgrounds, at times conflicted backgrounds, and we bring them together to collaborate through artistic projects. We've been active in many, many fields, such as fighting racial discrimination, promoting integration of refugees, tackling climate change issues. And this is how we came also with this initiative that leads to the promotion of women representation that is called Global Women in Music. And this is a very original concept that is now resulting to be very impactful, because our organization is now recognized as being very impactful at the global level, and we were granted an association with the United Nations. So we joined forces with the United Nations saying, hey, we want to lead differently, and we want to promote a very creative diplomatic tool that will bring women together to the forefront of your actions. We discovered that they had a symphony orchestra. Not many people know that the United Nations has its own symphony orchestra. You have a roster of 90 musicians from all over the world. And I approached the musical director and I said, hey, what is your program for International Women's Day? And he said, well, actually, we didn't thought of any particular program for that. And I said, okay, I have a suggestion for you. And Predrag Vasic, who is the current musical director of the orchestra, thought immediately that was, a good idea to collaborate with an NGO that is associated to the United Nations. And we suggested to have a concert by the United Nations Symphony Orchestra, performing only music by women composers, and exceptionally conducted by a woman conductor. So he was enthusiastic about the idea, because you have to know that in March 8th, which is International Women's Day, normally the United Nations holds an international conference on women's rights called the Commission on the Status of Women, that reviews the state of human rights all around the world, and particularly women's rights. And we thought it was a very original way to address this problem and to raise awareness both on the state of women's rights, the lack of proper representation, and also specifically address the problem of underrepresentation in the music industry.
Wow, that was nice and thorough. Okay. All right. Paulina,
So
what else do you got?
Yeah, I will tell you about the first edition, the second edition, and the third edition. But please ask any question you may think are appropriate here. So before I start, boom, freeing my enthusiasm for this initiative.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's lovely to hear from you. Thank you. Could you please tell us about other initiatives that you think could be taken globally to achieve gender equality?
So, well, gender equality, as I said, is really a challenge, and it is a global challenge. Not only, in the US, in Barcelona, in Madrid, but really all over our societies and all over our world. So, these are only, some contributions that are very personally shapen according to my personal background, but I think everybody can start its own initiative from its place. So there is really, no limits in trying to attain gender equality. For instance, I really appreciate that you guys are using your platform also to address these issues. women represent 50% of the world population, and we know they are not present as such. So, be it in the political sphere, in the business sphere, in the social sphere. And unfortunately, there are so many barriers that we all need to combat. That, as I said, I think, I will leave to the experts of each field, of each country, to think creatively of how many barriers they can remove. So this is the way we thought from United Voices for Peace, because and exploiting somehow our privileged position of partnership with the United Nations to use that platform to reach globally our audience and to try to create an impact in a different manner. But as I said, each network, not necessarily only women, by the way, we really appreciate men's support on that, because I think it is a problem for the entire society. We're trying to make a change. We're trying to build more fair and also efficient societies. So I think we all need to promote gender equality. We will all benefit from that.
Great. Thank you very much. Looking at the business side of things now, you've sent previously. We've seen the survey that was conducted in the second edition of Global Women in Music. Now the question is, how do you use that feedback from participants and stakeholders to shape and improve new initiatives?
So with your permission, let me come back to the very first edition that took place in 2022. As I said, we showcase the works of 8 women composers to pioneer, to honor the legacy and their own battles at their times. And then 6 contemporary composers who are still struggling because only 5% of the concerts that are programmed in concert halls showcase works from women composers. And the struggle is even higher for women conductors. So we started with this concept and wanted to test it in 2022. We realized it was extremely successful and very impactful by the number of views on the internet, by the feedback we received. But still, it was the first time we did something like this. So it was great that we tried to reach out potential partners, and so be it private foundations that support gender equality in general, or missions to the United Nations who have their composers represented and their country represented. We got some support, luckily, and we were able to get a generous grant also from Bumble, thanks to Vita Voices, who thought that our program was original and very useful to promote inclusive arts and culture. And we worked on a second edition that took place this last March 2024. So because we had a bit more money and more budget and a better organization on this second edition, we were able to conduct a thorough survey following the edition, be it on the orchestra. So we asked the members of the orchestra, as I said, almost 100 artists about their experience. We asked the audience, and we also asked the participants, meaning the composers themselves. We got a very positive feedback. We were reassured on our goals and objectives because the conclusions of those survey were basically that we were on the right track to combat barriers, bias, and inequalities. So we also listened to the shortfalls of this initiative, because there were, nothing is perfect. This is only the second edition. And we still lack more professionals, more support, more financial support as well. And we will become more and more professional, more and more efficient, and we want to reach a larger and larger audience. So we are integrating all the feedback that we're getting. But I'm happy, to distribute also more widely the results of this. But the survey really reflected very positive feedback and results.
So you gathered the survey, and you have both. Obviously, you have a qualitative assessment that you just came back with. Are you able to convert some of that feedback into quantitative intelligence that you can reapply?
We have precise percentages. We realized that 93% of the audience thought it was a groundbreaking initiative and a transformative experience. Some of them even told us that they never saw a woman conducting an orchestra live. So, can you realize? And also, almost 99% of the participants thought that such programs will be also hitting, a huge public and audience in a way that their professional careers will be totally uplifted. So those are only, from the top of my head, some of the figures I can think of. But I'm happy, yes, to to further develop and send you all the material.
Well, a question on that, still building. When you're looking to get support from the UN or from other potential sponsors, what kind of metrics do they look for in these types of initiatives so they can decide, yes, this ticks the box, I can help you with this, or this is not quite what we need, or you need to hit higher numbers? How do you do that? Because I'm not familiar with your line of work.
Sure. So this is why we conducted the survey, also to be able to quantify a bit better this impact, I will say, indicators. Because when you work in the arts, it is a little bit hard also to quantify. So unfortunately, we have to follow, I will say, a traditional pattern, which is the number of attendees, B, the number of artists mobilized, C, the number of views on social media, and these sort of I will say, traditional indicators. So we have quantified this, absolutely. They are not, I don't think, is a perfect science. It's as I said, it's very difficult to explain an artistic experience, because when you are present in a room, you feel with your heart, with the vibrations of the music and the emotion that is transmitted by the artists themselves when they come up on stage. And this is why I thought the pandemic was great, disseminating the arts. But for me, nothing replaces a live performance. So you have to come to New York to know. And this is what our donors did. Some of them were present in the room and realized how how excited the audience was to witness something like this.
Okay. Paulina, please continue.
You've talked a lot very insightfully about the organization's goals. How do you, as a leader, inspire and motivate yourself and your team to stay committed to these organizations' goals?
So, I think that whoever does social entrepreneurship, first of all, is moved by values and convictions. So you hold your convictions. I am deeply convinced that by promoting a culture of peace, so a culture that is not really tough at school, but is something that we gain when traveling, when meeting people from different backgrounds, when you realize that you enrich yourself with this diversity that you confront when you travel or when you meet people, as I said, from different cultures. So this is something that we are trying to transmit, believing that this is what will create a level, playing field, because this is really the basics of peace. Peace is not, and peaceful societies, peace is much more than only absence of conflict. So to tackle conflicts, be it at micro level and macro level, you first need to create equal societies where everyone feels included and where everyone feels that its voice matters. So the first reason that moves us is our share values among the organization, and also together with those who support our activities. So this is the first motto, I think, that mobilizes a social entrepreneur. If you're looking for, to enrich yourself, you're definitely on the wrong path, because this is not a business. This is not something you make money out of it, but you realize that you make a difference, and you make a difference in society. And this is what feeds your enthusiasm. So when you do make a difference, when you have these composers, for instance, coming to New York to take credit on their creations, to be showcased in front of a global audience of 2,000 people that come to appreciate your work, and that they tell you with a big smile, thank you so much for this unique experience. I would have never, gone out from the shadow I was in. So this is where you take your motivation from. And it's extremely rewarding. The same thing for a Syrian dancer that we supported to come out from Syria to perform in front of the European Parliament in Brussels, to transmit his message to a global audience saying, hey, I'm a refugee, but I am first and foremost a human being. So, this kind of things is something that really motivates us and moves the organization, and anyone that is ready to give his time, money, and work to make it happen.
Okay. Wow. Great stuff.
Thank you. So, any more questions? Go ahead. I'm ready.
Do you have any more questions, Victor?
Oh, I have some, but I'm letting you go because otherwise I'll take up. I don't want to co-opt your interview here.
Oh no, I've asked the questions that I wanted to ask.
Okay, so I understand about the feedback. Tell me, how do you guys make money?
Okay, so, well, I think that for any NGO, the most challenging thing is funding and sustainability. The two of them go together, because we are a creative NGO, so we don't lack any ideas. I can tell you, when you work with the creative community, that is with artists of all disciplines, especially, musicians, they always have plenty of ideas and beautiful creative ideas. What makes the difference is your capacity to raise funds to then realize these ideas. So we have different partners. Public partners, private partners, and then, of course, friends, family, anyone ready to support on individual basis. But mostly, first of all, we rely very much on public funds. New York City has been promoting an active arts and culture sector. So it is very, very rewarding to work in New York, because you feel that everybody understands the importance about what you're doing. They know artists have a very important role to play in our societies. So you get there some support of your fellow artists, and also the New York Mayor's office has been supportive to us. Basically the mayor's office has been very supportive. Then also the UN, some of the individual missions to the United Nations are supporting us. UNESCO has been also for a while supporting us. It is not based in New York, but it is based in France, as you know. But still, getting a logo from UNESCO gives a lot of credibility to your action, and people are then, willing to support even more. And then Vital Voices has been instrumental for me personally, because as a fellow, so I explained my concept. They found it was a very original and creative way of leading and expressing leadership. and they definitely supported what I wanted to accomplish, and reach out to their partners. They have a lot of corporate partners that are ready to support women in leadership positions, and in this case, they advocate for me to be able to get this grant recently that allow me to do plenty of things during this second edition of Global Women in Music.
Okay, I have another question. So I love, a big supporter of I guess the arts and culture here in Barcelona. Through our magazine, we help sponsor things and we promote the heck out of people that are doing interesting things. They're generally people who have a hard time getting visibility and getting funding. And
Exactly.
what is the biggest risk that you think affects your mission?
Well, the risk will be sustainability. So we managed to have a first edition, then we managed to have a second edition, and now we are already working on a third edition. But of course, I mean, we want to consolidate this instrument, but without funding, we won't be able to do it. So the risk is this: we provide visibility. We had visibility, and by the way, I wanted to mention that on this second edition, we took advantage of the presence of the composers in New York to make some interviews, and then our filming crew said, "Hey, why don't you do a documentary about the initiative? This will even perpetrate the sustainability of the initiative and help you also to widen your reach out." So we thought it was a great idea. We have made a documentary. I didn't share the trailer with you because the trailer is public, but the documentary is not yet. And I wanted to tell you that we are signing up a distribution deal for the documentary with a streaming platform called Herflix. So it is, similar to Netflix, but telling her story. Stories by women, from women, and for women. So we're going to distribute this hopefully in September. And the goal is, again, first to raise awareness on what we're doing, and second, also to raise funds to say, hey, this is what we're doing. We still believe that this is necessary because the gap and the equality gap is huge. We want to address this gap, and this is the way we're doing. And, we want to spread our message as widely as possible.
Okay, cool. This has been very educational for me. Paulina, you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so, but I am looking forward to the documentary.
All right, so I look forward to seeing you more. And also, Paulina and I work with something called the Metropolitan Business Association. I haven't seen you at one of our meetings. What we do is we get together on the 2nd and on the 4th Tuesday of every month at 8 a.m. And we have people who kind of pitch their companies. It could be a company that's for profit. We have several nonprofits. And we also have people who are looking for jobs. But
Okay.
I mean, it's a really great way to develop a network of contacts. And the idea is to help each other generate leads for everybody's business, not just yours, but you can help, say, Paulina's business, or you can help Metropolitan, or for my business. And the more that you do this, the more that you come and are able to, express what you are doing and what we can help you with, and whether it's getting a venue, getting funding, a profile of a client. Maybe you want to get access to a certain person, but your network doesn't get you there. I hope you're able to come one day and maybe even talk to us about what you're doing.
I will, with pleasure. Yes, before I leave to New York, though. I'm traveling to New York in September because there is the General Assembly, the United Nations General Assembly in September. That's a huge gathering where, we have to be present, but I'm always back and forth, from New York to Barcelona. But absolutely, I will look into your schedule and try to attend one of your meetings.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll send you by invitation only, so I will get the invitation out to you.
Okay, yeah, please do.
And also, do you happen to know Amilcar over at the Casa Batlló?
Sorry, who?
You don't know Amilcar.
No, I
He is-
don't.
He's the director. Really interesting story. He was an intern actually at the Casa Batlló. I think he was doing like architecture, urban planning, and now he's the director of the UNESCO project at the Casa Batlló.
Oh,
He's got
wow. No.
everything. Super nice guy. Oh, but I'm just thinking he's leaving tonight on vacation until September 3rd. But we're going to be going to visit the Casa Batlló, and I would love for you to come in and visit with me if you don't mind.
I would love to join you on that occasion. And if I may, talking about Barcelona, just for your information, our profile will be a bit enhanced in Barcelona too. Well, we've been working very much on, in New York, basically, to enhance our profile. But I'm definitely interested to also do that in Barcelona. And we are also in talks right now with one of our common friends that leads the foundation, is the Talentum. Wait,
Impulsa
Impulsa Talentum.
Yeah.
So we are envisaging, a possible partnership, and we will be happy, to be part of this effort to transform Barcelona into a hub of international talent.
Okay, between there and also, I'm on the board of the Catalan American Council, I think it's called, the CAC. So I'll definitely make sure that you're getting visibility there to exchange cultural offerings between the diaspora of Catalans around the world, as well as people outside who want to come and bring it to Catalonia. So,
well, that sounds fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you so much for organizing this and getting the questions together. They're always very insightful.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you. See you soon.
Stay on. We're gonna end it now, but we'll go ahead and stay on for a second if that's okay.